guys, this is Nick and Kayla, and we are back for knitting number 3. And what we are going to do today is we're going to finish up our hat. Let me readjust this so Kayla's in there. We're going to finish up our hat, and then we're going to get going on the cowl. Okay, so to finish up our hat, we're going to, I've got my hat already on double pointed needles. And I've started the decreasing process, which you can see my hat is getting smaller around as it goes up. And so it's starting to come in like that. Okay. Now Kayla is going to show you how to get those stitches onto the double needles, how to count for decreases, and then she'll give you some little tricks. Okay, so I'm going to just keep knitting, and hopefully by the time you're done getting your stuff onto the double needles, I will have this to a point where we can actually finish it up. Okay.
So I'm doing my last round without decreases. I decided to throw in some color work for the hat and just put some more mushrooms in there. And to do the mushroom pattern, it called for it to be 77 stitches. So I ended up having to increase from the 74 stitches I had cast on for the ribbing. So now I have 77. So working with 77 stitches, it recommended decreasing 7 each time. And so if you divide 77 by 7, then you have 11 stitches. And so if I'm working 11 stitches to a decrease, I'm actually working 9 stitches, and then the extra 2 stitches are the decrease where you're going to be knitting 2 together. So if you would want to change that up, you could do that. If you want to work in a different number of decreases, depending on how you want the crown to look. But
so how did you, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you decide where to put the extra stitches when you went from 74 to 77?
I just kind of like went like approximately a third. I, tried to not be too perfectionisty about it, and just kind of went like approximately 20 plus stitches and then just like added a stitch. But if you can equally divide and you want it to be a little more precise, you can do that. I just kind of like made a triangle with the hat and just was like, that's 3 points. So I like increased one right at the beginning and then went to like approximately where the next point was when I just did that, because I didn't really feel like counting at the time.
Cool.
But sometimes it does. Like,
so just try and even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So they're not just all 3 in one place.
Yeah, because it didn't fit perfectly to do the right number. So I was like, so it wasn't like increasing in a divisible amount.
Okay.
So I just kind of did it approximately. So it was spread out, but not worrying too much about it being precise, since it wouldn't necessarily be anyway. Okay, so I'm back to the beginning of my row. This is the stitch marker I used that a friend had made me, my friend Heather. And then I have the double pointeds. And since I'm switching over to double pointeds, I'm not going to be using the stitch marker anymore because it would just kind of fall off the beginning of the row. So if I wanted to use the stitch marker on the double pointeds, it would be more so if I was.
It's like I have done.
Yeah, like indicating where a decrease is mid needle.
Yeah, so I just put my marker in a stitch so it doesn't fall off the needles as I go around. It just gives me a general idea of where I started from.
Nice, yeah. And then you can also do it if you want to keep track of the decreases in the middle of the stitch, because usually I'll decrease at the beginning just so I know it's there, or because you can also do, like in this case, I could do knit 2 together and then knit 9. So you can decide where you want the decrease to fall, whether you want it to be right at the beginning or right at the end. And so because I'm going to have 7 decreases, I try to keep my stitches on 3 needles instead of 4, and doing like, I make more of a triangle than a square, because that's what I'm used to for when I make socks. But you can do a square so that they're a little more spread out if that works better for you. But because I have an odd number, I'm gonna do 2, 2, and 3, and kind of go from there. Or you can do like 3, 2, 2. So what I mean is I'm gonna do knit 1, 2, 3, and I'm just, instead of using this needle from a circular needle, I'm just continuing around with a double pointed. And I have 4 stitches, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I knit 2 together. And it's just like how it sounds. You are, instead of going through the loop of the one closest to the end of the needle, you're going one more back and going through both of them. And then looping, pulling it through. And then that is what it's going to look like. You can kind of see, and there's like this little bump if you're going to feel it. Like if it's hard to see, you can kind of feel the bump of them coming together. So that's the first decrease, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches, and then knit 2 together. So as you can see, it's already kind of filling up the needle, so the one that would have 3 on it could be pretty bulky, so it might make sense for you to switch over to like having 4. And I also sometimes don't even cast or decrease and slip them over to the double pointeds until I've already decreased a bunch and it's starting to get like a little too snug for the circular needles. And then that way it's not like falling off the needles. So you can kind of choose to switch over as soon as you get to the decrease, or you can wait until you're doing decreases and it starts to feel a little too snug on the circulars.
Thank you for watching this Dragonfly Creative webinar. If you'd like to get full access to this tutorial, along with our full library of previous and upcoming webinars, check out my club, A Place to Create, at dragonflycreative.art.